About myself, I've worked in HR for about 25 years now. I come from Ghana originally. I've lived in South Africa for 30 years. I now live in Dubai, and I'm currently the head of HR for Africa and Middle East. My work entails a lot, as people know. We, the HR people, help the business to drive the strategy and make sure that they've got the right skills at the right time to help them, grow the business. What I really like about my job is no day is exactly the same. Every day you come in and you have a schedule and you think that's what you're going to stick to, and then something else comes, through, as you know, with people's stuff. Because my remit is over 25 countries, I get to go around a lot and meet people from diverse backgrounds and culture, and I really like that. I'm an inquisitive person, so I like to know what makes people tick and what is different, from one culture to the other. So going around and meeting these people makes me really feel I have a satisfying job. So usually at the beginning of every year, the business comes up with what their strategy is going to be. And we in HR, what we do is we look at the strategy and we come up with an HR strategy. Usually it's around building a capability to make sure that we've got the right people to help the business grow. Sometimes we have our own HR agenda that we want to drive. For instance, like we've got a few obsolete systems and processes, and we want to make sure that we can develop these to ensure the business can use them and get faster, better HR processes, etc. This then gets cascaded into people's objectives, where individuals then come up with objectives for their areas, and then the line managers focus on whether people have met their objectives or not. So these are some of the things that we focus on. I think for me, being the head of a diverse region, one of the main challenges I face is moving people from one country to the other. Markets or local countries have become a bit more precious, in inverted commas, about their talent. And we are a global organization, would like to move people from one country to the other. But you find that in some countries, you get challenged by the local authorities to say, why don't you appoint a local person into that role? And we have to keep educating them that we are a global organization and would like to move, our talent across boundaries. So for me, that's a big challenge that, we need to kind of work around. And I think for me, the best solution is to just show some of the markets that if we have, for instance, Pakistanis working abroad, then we want other nationalities to come and work in Pakistan. So that kind of exchange helps a lot. The second challenge that we face as HR in AME is around the gender agenda. So not all countries you will find have the right level of women in decision-making positions. And as a group, we want to drive the gender agenda and make sure that women are in decision-making positions, that they don't feel there's a glass ceiling and that they can be anything that they want. We want equal opportunity, yes, for our staff, but we want to focus on the women agenda. We want them to feel that once they are in this organization, they are well supported for them to grow their career. So that's also, a second area of challenge that we're looking at. And then the third thing, or the third challenge, is perhaps around some of our HR systems that are getting a bit obsolete, and we need to replace them with, more agile systems. We talk about the digital age and, how people want at a click of a button to know everything around their staff, to help them in terms of their movements, their succession planning, who is talent, who is not, what benefits you're using for them, etc. So we are investing in a 4-year program in HR to help us to get to the right systems and processes for HR to be able to serve the business better. I must tell you, I had a session with the millennials 2 days ago. And when I left the session, I thought, oh, I wish I was 25 years again, or young. They just really bring a diversity of thoughts, and for them, they just have ample confidence. They can do anything they put their minds on. Things are quite simple with them. They understand, they get the issues, and we need to look at how we involve them in helping us come up with the right solutions for some of the issues that we're struggling with. When we spoke 2 days ago, we spoke about how we could use them, to resolve some of the issues we have around gender, some of the issues we have around flexible working, etc. And I think they come up with great ideas. So for our organization, what we started doing is using them, as think tanks. We use them when we want to think about the right solution for issues, and I think that this is something that we want to continue doing. They're awesome. So we are an equal opportunity organization. So yes, the job opportunities and the job opportunities are quite the same. We have what we call we put most of the jobs that we are recruiting for on a portal, so that anybody can see it and then decide whether they want to apply for the job or not. The fact that we are focusing on women as a particular category does not mean that we will also just put women in positions if they are not capable of doing the work. Otherwise, it could be demotivating for the women and also for the men. So when I say we are an equal opportunity, yes, that's what it is. But we may focus on the development of women so that we can make them quite ready for the positions, that come and as and when they want to apply for these jobs, we make them quite ready to take on these roles. Wages are aimed to be a fair wage company or organization. There are gaps. We've looked at our gender pay gap. The gap is not huge. If you look at the aggregate of men and women and you look at the pay gap, it's minimal, 3%. But this doesn't mean it's not something that we shouldn't focus on. So it's on our radar to focus on that. We want to also focus on equal work, equal pay, and make sure that we are not paying our women less than our men, and therefore this is really a big focus area for us. As primary caregivers, it's important that you have the right support system. Some women have their support system at home and others don't. In Pakistan, for example, they provide benefits for daycare, so that women can leave their kids in a daycare facility until such time that they're ready to go home and they pick them up. They're also thinking about perhaps providing daycare facilities at the workplace, and that would also help. So you bring your child in, you can check on your child whenever you want to, and when you're going home, you go with your child. So we're trying to bring in as much flexibility as we can to make our women quite comfortable to also be as ambitious as the men are.